Good morning, all. Internet is struggling this morning. I guess there are big tax attacks going on Amazon Global Web System or some crap like that. Hello, Blossberg, PA. Hello, Becky B. Okie Bob. So hopefully it will appear smooth on you all's end. Mr. Holiday, what kind of wheelchair do I use? It depends. I have two different ones. I've got a Jazzy Air 2 to help stand me up, get to a higher cabinet, and then I've got a mobile one that is a Space Ranger Pro. So I have two different ones. One that's mobile and one just for the house. Hello, Flight Level. Thank you for that super sticker. Much appreciated. Hello, Mr. Coon. Hello, Jojo Ma. Hello, Fred. Good. Glad many of you guys are not having any web problems. It was definitely causing some hiccups. Definitely causing some hiccups. Oh, coffee's extra good this morning. Hello, Ra. Hello, G Wiz Jet 4, enjoying my lovely coffee. Forgot to mention the beast. I'm still doing good mornings. We got time. Oh, yes. Oh, God. The beast wheelchair. Yeah, I forgot to mention that one. The tank one for the beach and the paths. And oh, that thing is, I did forget to mention that one. Secret identity kind of makes me suspicious with all the companies who use Amazon Web Services, like my electric company for bill paying. You'd be stunned how much is flowing on Amazon's web services. Yeah, we do. Let's do that one right now. Jay and Amy's mother, Deanne, celebrating birthday today. The Amy wrote something for her mother. Let me do that real quickly, and then we can get on with. Well, I say we can. There it is. It's afraid we somehow lost it. All right. Happy 91st to Deanne. You've seen a lot in your lifetime. Some seasons were good and some were hard, but you kept going. The kind of quiet strength is something most people never understand until they've lived it. You might not feel like your life has been great, but it has meaning. The lessons, the love, the memories you've carried have touched your family in ways you probably don't even realize. Jay and Amy and we all want to celebrate you today, not for the perfect story, but for a real one. You've been a mother, a grandmother, a light that still holds everyone together in your own quiet way. Love you. Thank you for your every moment you've given. Your life matters. Your present means more than words can ever say. Happy birthday to Deanne. That is pretty awesome, though, getting to celebrate the 91st. Yeah, Jay, I don't see Zester carrying me too far either. I'm a 6-foot guy, 190 pounds. I need to lose some. Actually, I'm probably less than that now. Bernard's mother's 95th birthday this weekend. Oh, this coming weekend. We'll see if we can get her knocked out. I don't want your mom mad at me. Grip saying, Iraq, great news from Frank 26 contractors. Pissed they haven't been paid. Found a friend under Trump that told the boss of Iraq, get it done, stop using dollars. There's a lot of pressure for them to get stuff done on the contractor side. Jamie King's rally sure sucked. Angry white suburbanite retirees with walkers. Really, did anybody of you guys like see any of the film from them or all the different postings from around the country? It was like 90% old retired white people. It was like crazy. I know that kind of represents most of the community. Surprisingly, not most, but a sizable chunk, just not liberal, I guess, or classical liberal, meaning we believe in free markets, sovereign freedoms before they change the definition of liberal. How does that feel, guys? Every one of you all is a flaming liberal. I know. Not me. What I mean by that is the classic definition, and they somehow changed it. You believe in free markets. You believe in sovereign rights, individual rights. The collective now claims to be liberal. It is laughable to think about it, isn't it? Oh, a lot of folks have rent going up. And I've not heard this one. Dragonheart reporting that the National Guard has found lots of missing kids in Memphis, Tennessee. Hmm. Sergio, some of the memes of Gavin Newsom dressed like a princess because it wasn't no queens. Oh, come here. At least I'm flaming something. I've not seen this one. Who is this? Did anyone see that Bossy from Australia said Trump's going to put something out today, which will be big? Haven't seen that. Biscuit, Biscuit is correct. The same people that spit on our military in the Vietnam era, they're just old and need walkers. It really is. It's the same crowd. DS Cage, and the question is, were they paid protesters? Many instances, it appears, yes, they were. It does also appear that many of them clocked out immediately and went home as soon as the scheduled time. Have you ever seen a protest that you could schedule? Like you could say, turn it on, turn it off. We're gonna protest from 7 to 9. Be here sharp. Maybe a few minutes early. Here's your pre-printed signs. Wave them around nicely. Oh wait, here's a list of the chants you're supposed to use. Yeah, that's a real genuine grassroots protest. They're just trading who they want to be king. I think it's people on Social Security and retirement benefits that are having a hard time, just need some money. Yeah, that could be part of it. I would, guys, if they're willing to pay you 25, $50 an hour to go sit out there, I mean, maybe we should all consider it. We can get paid to go do the protest, and we can hand out like Bible verses or something. We can have some fun with it. Shayna's birthday. Shauna. I don't know. How do you pronounce it? Jody's belated birthday. Dragonheart, bond contact not paid. Like I had mentioned, I think Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, their expectations are for this week. We have some huge bond expectations for this week, and I got more and more reports confirming what they are being told timing wise for late Tuesday, Wednesday, mostly Wednesday payments. Hey, missed the soccer game. Happy birthday to you both. Son's first birthday. Think about his first birthday. Isn't that cool? That had to be fun. Let's see. LilyPad breaking, a huge number of sites, apps are down. Zoom, Roblox, Clash Royale, MyFitnessPal, Life 360, Clash Clans, Fortnite, Canva, Wordle, Signal, Coinbase, Duolingo, Slack, Smartsheet, all of them hosted on Amazon Web Services. Disability system is so absolutely broken in this country. Absolutely broken. I went through it and finally said, this isn't whatever. I don't care how difficult it is. I'm just gonna have to grind myself into the early grave, because you're gonna have to work somehow, some way, because it's a joke. Our disability system in this country is a joke. It's embarrassing. Politicians should be mortified at it. They should be so embarrassed that any politician after serving a 2-year term that hadn't fixed anything should hang their head in shame, walk away with their tail tucked between their legs, and admit they suck as human beings. That's my thoughts on that one. It's a huge, painful, ugly joke. You have people that in no way qualify or should get it, and you have people that desperately need it, that it's obvious, it's not a question whether they need it, they can't get it. And then when they do, it is such a laughable amount that it might pay for a cell bill and, I don't know, a couple of groceries. It's a joke. Took 5 years, 2 attorneys for deceased spouse to get it. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Sergio, starting January 2026, my health insurance is going up $200 for what? Same or worse coverage? Yeah, all they did was take a broken healthcare system under Obama and make it worse by forcing corrupt insurance. It's another one of those jokes. People understood what the true cost of the healthcare system was in the U.S., they would all probably pick up their torches and pitchforks and head to D.C. Mr. Brightside said 1600 a month will make you diet. Well, now try being disabled where you get $800 or $900 a month. Right? It's over. Let's get to the news, guys. I am so sorry. You guys got me distracted this morning. We do have StazieZ joining at the end. Let's start in Iraq. We already talked about the bond side, guys. I don't expect news on the bond side. Anything we get is going to be a bonus between now and probably Wednesday morning. Multiple reports over the weekend of updates. Expectations are huge for Tuesday, Wednesday on the bond side right now. If it changes, I will tell you what I'm hearing. I don't expect us to get much news before then. I am hopeful, but don't expect it. All right, just wanted to start off right there so that you guys knew what I was hearing and expecting over the weekend. Have not gotten any banking updates yet. Nizar Hadar reveals the currency auction has not stopped yet. Is the government silent about the violations? I found this one interesting. So a lot of the currency auctions, in order to keep things afloat, have still been going on quietly in the background. And this does not surprise me because I was curious how they have managed to kick the can for a year without resetting their currency yet. They have quietly been doing this in the background to keep things juggled until they get a release, is what it appears to me. This actually, strangely enough, a positive sign, because we were told that the new rate would happen when these were truly done. And then they said they ended them, but they didn't truly end them. That's how they've been able to keep things afloat over this past year. Well, not quite a year yet, but we are approaching it. Starting to make a lot more sense when I saw that one. It also tells me that we are getting closer and closer to completion or a change. Economist calls for establishment of government bank to guarantee depositors' funds. I've been waiting for this one too. They are finally calling for the government to back some of the banks or create their own bank with 100% back money to get people in Iraq to adopt it. What many of you guys don't know, or I doubt many of call them intel people, gurus or whatever, have pointed out that in the past, Iraqi banks haven't been great. People would go, there'd be a run on the bank. People didn't get their money. They didn't have like an FDIC to hand them back their stuff. So what they're calling on is the government to 100% back, either start their own bank or back certain banks that already exist and guarantee the money, kind of like the FDIC, but 100% backing. I think that would be huge. I think you would get a very quick adoption if the government did that. That one, I just like common sense, and that might be a final sign that we are here. Central Bank of Iraq grants a license to Nishtam Bank in the Kurdistan region. This is HCL moving forward. They'll be able to transfer payments, funds, etc., directly, get their accounts, go to the bank. This one is going to be a big part of the HCL moving forward. So when I see these little nuggets, they make me feel comfortable that we are indeed moving forward on that HCL agreement. Zabari Safara points we have a new person tackling the U.S. Putting now I believe the guy's name is MarkZ, originally Iraqi, to help this transition to do away with the paramilitary forces, or they call them the parliamentary military forces left over from the battle in ISIS. Huge sticking point for peace in Iraq. Big back and forth peace. Many of those parliamentary military force, PMF, financed through Iran and other agencies. We are watching them slowly fade away. Big move here to finish this off. Another one of those things that was in the reform papers so that they could change the value. One of the things that needed completed. Expert unproven oil reserves range between 45 and 100 billion barrels. They are saying they have found even more and potentially massively more oil in Iraq, probably cementing its position as the third largest oil holding country in the world. Now, when you look at its size and its population, that's impressive. Really impressive. Massively impressive, which shows us that they can afford quite a bit more and more over time, whether that is oil for dinar or supporting the value. Timing on these releases is interesting to me. Thought this one was a big piece too. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs meets with Vice President of the European Commission and the High Representative Foreign Affairs of the European Union. In other words, the EU cutting deals with Iraq. It is believed that a huge percentage of energy for Europe will soon be coming directly from Iraq. We're watching. This is international. Think international values, international country, sovereign rates, military stepping out, banks coming up to speed. These are all those reforms we've been looking for the value. Iraq boosts gold reserves to 162.5 tons. Just 160 not long ago, now 162.5. They continue to increase the gold reserves. Represents an important step to strengthen the national economy, support financial liquidity, as well as being a strategic safety factor in the face of global market volatility. Reset. Andy makes the news again too, guys. When I say reset and then Andy, you guys, I think, will understand where I'm headed once we get to it. Central Bank of Iraq. Iraq's debts are moderate and within safe borders. 43%. They can afford to pay off all their public debt and then some, almost all their public debt and all of their currency in circulation. Yes, they have debt. Percentage-wise, drop in the bucket compared to the United States, Europe. You get the idea. They continue to let us know their financial position. I think that's important because they're going to try to justify a much higher exchange rate. No fresh news on the dong. We've gone almost a week or so without any good dong stuff. Okay, that's inappropriate, but it's called Vietnamese dong. Don't blame me. Wait, can I already drop the news banner? May have never put it up. Heck, I don't know. Country chick, what is the timeline for us to go to the bank since Article 12 passed per Frank? Why don't you call Frank and ask him? I don't like being responsible for other gurus' news. I don't mind you guys sharing it, but when you have a question for them based on their intel, please ask them directly. I've never seen anything like this. One bullion dealer sees a rupture in gold and silver markets. That dealer is Andy, talking about what we talked about on Wednesday. Talking about silver surging, the backwardation in the market, the difference between spot price, the collapse, the lack of physical metals, the rising spreads and exchanges. In London, they have 140 million ounce float. They're trading 600 million ounces a day. They're trading 600 million, but the most they could ever come up with was 140. That means there's over 2 billion. Well, they're telling us there's over 2 billion ounces in paper claims out there on a float of 140 million actual ounces of silver. 2 billion. They can cover 140 million. Means they're calling the short. In Sheckman's view, London is the epicenter of a quiet crisis where years of rehypothecation, multiple claims on the same bars are being exposed. It's being called under the carpet. It is hitting. The collapse is, well, underway. And it's not just me calling for it. Experts all over the world. My guts on the dinar rate. I think the absolute worst we'll see is about $1. I think realistically, I think we're going to see around 4 to 6. We'll see. Ellen likes our Nightbot. Nightbot's really stepping up and learning. I know he may be annoying to some of you guys, but if he annoys you, it's only because you do not understand what it's there for. Subvet, what's the rumor for an exchange rate in Indonesian rupiah? The rumor is $1.47 US. I mean, it really has not budged. I heard that one years ago, and even when they do, like we see a rate will pop up for an hour, for minutes. Sometimes an overnight, we will see it pop up at that 147. I think we're going to see a buck 47 for it. It's what I think. None of us are going to know for certain until we get there, but thoughts on the dong? I continue to think low to mid $2 range. Most of my folks think it's going to be more like 360 to 380. How about the lines of people in India trying to get precious metals and 2-ounce limit of silver per customer? India is one of the first places you see them run to metals. India, Turkey, and the Middle East. When they know something big's coming, it's almost like before an earthquake or before a fire or something. You see all the wild animals fleeing the area before anybody knows there's anything wrong. Think of it just that way. When you see that region start trying to scramble for physical metals, dumping their currencies, you usually know that something's about to hit. You can just it is throughout time for the last 100 years. You can look at almost any major economic event worldwide. Look at those markets and look at how they're behaving. Sergio, with the pressure going on in Venezuela, I wouldn't be surprised to see us in the first. It's like a full court press going on. Now it's spread to Colombia. We're going to talk about that too. Major insurance carrier collapses and files Chapter 15 bankruptcy. Major insurer of many New York hospitals. Now, this insurance company is based out of Bermuda for privacy and tax purposes. They have filed Chapter 15, forced into liquidation due to a surge in abuse claims. Now, what abuse claims are those? So we're going to go off to New York hospital systems, and it is claims that they are having to pay out for child abuse. Yeah, you can't make this one up. They are claiming that due to a lot of claims they have to pay out here. Major insurance company, which has been forced into insolvency and liquidation in Bermuda. It is based in Bermuda, but it is because of child sex abuse claims that they have had to pay out in New York hospitals. Doesn't make you feel real good about going to a New York hospital if you're a family person with a child now, does it? Well, Vietnam dropped the zeros on their currency too. Same idea, Rennie. They will issue lower denominations after exchanging. Fortunately for them, I forget what the number is, but it's like 90% of their currency is actually is digital within the banking system, which means it's going to be very easy for them to handle the process, much easier than Iraq. Who they flat? Billionaire funded No King's Color Revolution turns into a white liberal boomer parade as Dems become a national laughingstock. It is kind of fun to watch it and look. We're told that it's led by minorities and people of color, but then when you look at it and you look at all the film, it does. I mean, it's more like Cocoon met the Summer Uprising movie Cocoon. It is stunning when you watch it. And I noticed this before this article that I read this morning on it. No Kings is a reminder that the elderly hippie boomers are still tormenting this country. And somebody else had mentioned the same people spitting on the Vietnam vets when they came home. That's kind of embarrassing, though, because I have great respect for older people, but they emptied the retirement homes for an extra pudding night. They worked cheaply. Yeah, I mean, it really did. It was a bit of a joke. Even the rally in Atlanta was predominantly old white people. Sean, I do not know if Uganda shillings are going to be in the first basket. I know in the past, many considered that Africa would all be in a future one. And then we were told it was all going at once, and each country would go individually as they were ready. I don't know what to tell you on that one, Sean. I haven't picked up any of it yet, and I might regret that. Corey, I know you don't like Trump. I know you don't. I know many out there don't. But have you thought about what it would be like if Kamala would have won? I mean, the government budget of Office and Counting showed that she was going to add somewhere between 4 and 6 trillion more in 4 years in national debt than Trump. Your borders would still be wide open. Do you think the protests would look any differently? You can't inject 20 million illegal immigrants. Okay, let's run with the Democrats' numbers and say it was only 10 million. You can't even run with 10 million illegal without there being some resentment or without it upsetting the societal fabric, right, wrong, and indifferent. I'm pro-immigration. I'm just pro-legal immigration. And I do agree that the immigration system is broken and needs fixed. But the answer is not to ignore it and allowing anybody with any kind of background. Hey, we continue to remove people that are on the terrorist watch list in the past year. Do you think it would have been any better? I know you hate the orange man. It's TDS. You can't see straight. You hate him so much. You've gotten to the point where you don't even like Clemson or Tennessee because they're orange. But stop and think about this. Do you actually think anything would be better if the Democrats would have won? And if you do, I just suggest you stop, drop, go back and think for a while, because that's your alternative. You didn't get another option. So do you truly think, and if you don't think Harris was going to be better, then you should probably change your approach. But if you think Harris will be better, then all I can say is, God bless you. I'll pray for you. I don't think Trump's perfect, but I do think he is exponentially a better option than Harris would have been. Then, Corey, I respectively think you're nuts. Because Harris was a shit show. My opinion on the Real, not going this time. I do not think it is going. I wish it would. I hope for you guys and some of you guys that have it, but no part of me thinks it's ready. Yeah, both. Exactly. Both parties are corrupt. Who do you think's the least corrupt? Yeah, I'm being totally nice. I mean, think about it. The Democratic Party, no primary at all. They appointed one. They crap all over the entire concept of democracy. Not that we're democracy, we're a republic, which really confusing. They claim they want to end the electoral college, but now that over 50%, approaching 60% of the country is identifies as conservative, independent, Republican. Now that the Democratic Party is smaller than the Republican Party, smaller than the independent movement, it's now quite literally one of the smallest movements in the U.S., loudest, but one of the smallest. If they really want to do away with electoral college, they won't get a choice in their gerrymandering rules. They're changing districts. They won't get a choice in any of that. It'll get shoved down their throat, and it'll look very different. When I read the No Kings and what they were standing for, is like, I wonder if they realize that the overwhelming majority of that would remove the Democratic Party from any future possibility of existing ever. I just want it run like a business and leave the emotion out of it. Israel-Hamas ceasefire appears to hold after alleged violations by Hamas. There's a lot of film, a lot of witnesses. They fired and killed 2 Israeli defense forces in a protected zone. Israel responded, killed 26 people. It appears peace is holding again. Just your quick update. I am hopeful peace holds. It is truly humanitarian crisis, and I'm not fond of either side personally anymore. Trump to increase tariffs, cut subsidies to Colombia over drug trafficking. I've been waiting for this one. I'm not certain if it's if Trump's doing it the right way, but I've been waiting for this one. He accused Colombian President Gustavo Petro of facilitating, encouraging the illegal drug trade. Reading some fun stuff in here. Carrick's birthday. Happy birthday, Carrick. Trump to increase tariffs, cut subsidies on Colombia. Back to this one. One of the latest ships taken out, a semi-submersible. And they tried to claim it was a fishing boat. Semis. Why would you have a semi-submersible that could go in, go out, covert to go fishing when you claim you were doing it in legal waters and you're just a fisherman, but you have a semi-submersible and you have like bales of drugs? I'm just kind of curious. I mean, like bales of like, we're talking like fentanyl and cocaine here. Kind of curious. Did anybody take you seriously when you claimed it was just a fishing? And I do agree that Trump needs to put pressure on Colombia and Venezuela. I'm not certain I agree with the approach. Part of me does, part of me doesn't. But I do enjoy listening to the backlash as they try to qualify this one. They try to say, yes, but the law's this. Or they think the law is that. They don't know for certain, but just stop because we don't know what the law is. I guess this is how we find out what it is. But I also find it interesting that they will justify it and say, yeah, but they were like on a home base. Remember, like as a kid, you would play, who's it? But you had like a safe base. You could run to your safe base. So what you have are these international narco organizations doing just that. They're like a safe base. You know what's coming. You know what they're doing to you. You know what they're importing. But then they look at you after they do it. Like they come over there, they drop it, they kill somebody, and they run over here and go, ha, now I'm safe. I'm in a sanctuary city, or I'm in a sanctuary spot. I'm in a safe spot. And you're just supposed to sit there. And I guess what we're seeing now is the change of those rules. You have somebody showing up to and fighting really dirty and doing something truly evil, and then running over here and saying, ha, I'm on safe base. You can't touch me now. And he just goes, boom. All right, you're dead. Good for you. You're on your safe base. It's going to change how this whole war on international narco organizations, human terrorist organizations, fentanyl trafficking organizations work, and how it works from the government perspective. Governments are going to continue to be horribly embarrassed as it gets processed, persecuted, the handlers. So they're operating with impunity in those countries. You're letting them operate with impunity, and then you're trying to claim some kind of international law when they go after them. Whole rule book has changed. It's going to make it for interesting. After reported shouting match, Zelensky and Trump agree battle lines should be frozen before final peace can be brokered. I agree on this one. What do you mean I agree on this one? They had a fight. They rant, rave, and screaming match during parts of it. Zelensky doesn't want to give up anything. Europe doesn't want to give up anything. Trump saying, you don't have a leg to stand on. If I were Russia, I wouldn't want to settle. Right, wrong, and different. Look at it logically. They're winning. They've gained this. It's cost them a fortune, hundreds of thousands of men and women. They don't want to give up what they won. At the same time, you go back through from the 1990s, we have lied over and over. NATO, the U.S., and European governments have lied over and over and over, said we wouldn't be moving NATO into your country. We wouldn't put forces. We put the CIA. We now know from our own government documentation, we put 8 forward bases in there. We put multiple bioengineering labs. Every time we said we wouldn't do something, we violated it and did it. I understand why Russia was upset. I understand why they did what they did. I wish they hadn't. I wish we would have upheld our end of it and never would have happened. But you can't go back and clean up. You can clean up, I guess, the spilled milk, or you can recognize the milk's out there on the ground and it's sticky and soured. So watch this one. Trump's telling Zelensky now with no uncertain terms, you're going to have to compromise something or you're just on your own. They did call back the Patriot missile system. Was it the Patriot? No, the Tomahawk missiles, which I think was a good thing because I would have taken that as an act of war. Do I think Russia is more of a paper tiger than a big one? Yes, I do agree on that front. But I also don't want to put American body bags in for years and years and years and years of lies. I don't think it fixes anything. Europe, if they want to support it, let them. I don't know about you guys, but I'm of the mindset we should probably consider stepping out of NATO. Never thought I would become an isolationist. Not that I'm really an isolationist. I just don't believe we should continue to play these stupid foreign policy things. We should concentrate in our own yard, in our own backyard. Stay in the Americas. Let Europe and the rest of the world figure it out. Not that many of you wanted my opinion this morning, but yeah, Harris, Boris Johnson, Biden, they all told him not to sit down with Putin, to ignore peace. He was offered a peace deal initially where all he had to do was say, fine, we will be a NATO free zone. We will be defense only, and we will stick to you take Crimea, you've already taken it. We'll redraw that. Here are the borders, and it would have been over. They were offered a peace deal that they're not going to be able to touch now. Upset some more people on that one with just common sense. The sanctions on Gazprom led to the Azerbaijan trade route restoration, cutting off Ukraine, who brokered. There's so much going on that most people don't understand. NATO is a vehicle for globalism. I'll agree on that one too. I'll agree with the UN is as well. I like the notion of United Nations. I just don't like the execution of it. Cheryl, I'm still hearing no taxes on exchange. I hope it's accurate. I do know that currency dealers are having a heck of a time, and they're not being able to get much in the way of supply, which is affecting cost. Cosme, you really want to get a conversation. Our medical system is so absolutely destroyed. Let's see. I just saw a report that MSNC got busted with the footage they showed for the new Kings rally. They showed a rally from 2017 August, not from the one that happened. That's they do that a lot. They do that a lot. The funniest thing was like the early covering of the Ukrainian-Russian conflict. Do you guys remember that? Where they would show this breaking footage of bombings and jets, and then we find out a day later, 2 days later, that it was from a video game. I guess the bad part is the news agencies thought it was real. They took it in eyes wide open because it fit their narrative, had the shock and all or whatever, and then they find out it's from a video game. That happened like a number of times. Yep, Daily Word, remember it, the video game. I mean, it was crazy. Fred, they did some of the footage was showing video game footage from the Middle East. Sam says ChatGPT says anything over 200 will be taxed. Sam, we're also told our tax system is going to change. So we got to figure out, where do we stand on that? Are we going to truly see a change in our tax system, or are we not? I mean, if we're not going to see a change in the tax system, we're not going to actually see a value-based dollar. We're only seeing a revaluation of the value of the currency. Then I can see it. But if 10% of what we've been told is accurate, pilots were caught smuggling dinar out of the country last week. I haven't seen a story on it. That would be the first I've heard of it. That's why I didn't cover it. We all suffer from confirmation bias, Tim Fu. That is one of the things that no matter who you are, what your belief system, you will suffer from it. I suffer from it. You suffer from it. There's nobody on this planet that doesn't suffer from it. All I can say is try to do your best to balance it. Read in. I try to make myself do it. It's not palatable. It tastes like poop, but I make myself read mainstream articles as well. And then I double check them. I do the same thing with the more right leaning stuff. I double check it and say, what's factual, what's not. Ooh, that sounds good, but is it accurate? It's been eye opening the last few years learning to double check myself better. I do find myself being wrong less and less often because I went and double checked myself. In other words, if I'd have said my initial gut and ran with it, I would have ended up looking like an idiot. So when I say it's helping me be right, it's helping me being right after being wrong. You guys just don't get to see the wrong part first as often. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about the rates, guys. If it's much better than what you had before, you take it and you run with it. No news on the peso. I've heard there will be some change on the peso, but it won't be great, big, huge. There's a lot of countries out there that'll see an adjustment. The question is, will they see as big an adjustment? I guess my best way of putting that one is, would $50 of Vietnamese dong get you further than $50 of peso? If the peso triples in value, that $50 could get you 150. If we're right on Vietnam, it can get you massively more than that. So I guess that's my take on a lot of you guys will ask me questions about this currency or that currency. And I'm like, yeah, it should adjust. It should change. Look at it. Look at its fundamentals. Look at its value based on resources for the country and then do your math. That's why 90% when you guys throw me ones like that one, I'm like, yeah, it probably will improve, but where's it better spent? Yeah, another one of those, the Ghost of Kiev, totally made up. A lot of those. But now, one thing I did do today, guys, you have a ton of articles. I want to make certain that you guys have them so that you can see the progress. So you can see what they're working on. You can balance it against what they told you their reform papers are. Hell, they published it over at the CBI. No, it wasn't at the CBI. It was at the, actually, I do think it may have been. Part of it was published at the CBI. Part of it was published at the, God, I wish I could remember the name of the site. It's part of the Iraqi government. When they published their reform paper, they told you what they were trying to do so that they could lift their purchasing power. And that's why I share them. Just, don't trust me. Read the articles. My thoughts on being taxed on the currency. I don't think we're going to be taxed on the currency at the same time because I do realize and understand that there's a good chance that we could get taxed on it. I picked up extra currency to cover it. And if I'm right and we're not, that means I got a lot more money in my pocket. If I'm wrong and we are taxed, that means I have come up with a way to cover it. Nini Ireland. Yes and no. Hey, Mark, if there was a significant increase in the amount of people investing in currency before it goes, do you think it will impact the RV and how? Only if it is a significant number of people with more overall currency that they picked up. In other words, if there's only a set amount, let's say, I don't know, just keep it easy. Let's say there's $1 million dollars worth of currency out there that's available for it. Does it matter if it's owned by 1,000 people or 10,000 people? No, it doesn't really matter because the overall cost of changing values stays the same. It's static. It's just going to more individual people. It's spread out more. So unless they print a bunch more currency, no, I don't think more people getting involved affects it. But now, if these countries suddenly print a crap ton more currency to sell to these people, then yes, it will affect it and push the value down. But Iraq specifically has cut their currency circulation. I'd have to go back to the CBI numbers, but we know by at least half. We know at one point they crossed over 200 trillion in circulation. They're now down into 90, mid 95 to 100 trillion in circulation. So we do know that they have massively reduced their circulation and destroyed currency. So as long as they don't suddenly print like 50 trillion more and throw out there under the table, it should not affect it at all. Doesn't matter if 10,000 people own it, 100,000 people own it. It's the overall amount in circulation that will affect its value. When are you going to run from it? Not. How many ounces is a crap ton? I don't know. What is a crap ton? I think it probably weighs the same as a regular ton. Just smells more. Let's sing happy birthday and turn it over to StazieZ, Deanne, Paul, Shayna, Jody, Jay, Eric, 91. Isn't that awesome? So they tell me it's your birthday. Well, happy birthday, darling. May you live, may you love, make all your dreams come true. Yeah, I'm not going to try anymore, guys. The voice is struggling. It's been struggling for days. We got some kind of allergy thing going on. All I can do is I'm wishing you folks a happy birthday. See, Roy, Matt Gaetz claims BB's actively trying to undermine President Trump's peace deal and says Trump knows exactly what's going on. Hamas didn't violate Israel. Tank ran over an ordinance, went boom. Roy, I know there's a lot of back and forth. I do not trust BB. That doesn't mean I don't love Israel. I don't love the Israeli people. It means I do not trust Benjamin Netanyahu. Trust him as far as I can pick him up and throw him. There have been too many hot mic moments in his career where he has talked about using the U.S. as a pawn and his little bitch for me to ever trust him. Before they started altering an AI and imaginary voices and imaginary whatever, where they could just program in the computer would make it sound like him. Way before that, we can go back into the like 1980s, 1990s, 2000s. Some of the hot mic moments with Benjamin have me to the point where I do not trust him and never will. Doesn't mean I don't love Israel. Doesn't mean I don't trust the Israeli and Jewish people. Just means I do not trust their leader. My thoughts on that one. I know I'm getting in trouble this morning. I'm going to get a lot of dirty emails.
I love it. Saltiness. It's good for the soul. Oh my goodness. How is everybody this morning? Happy Monday. Ooh, we're finally getting into some fall weather here. Oh, but the other day I was out on the boat. It was beautiful. It was 80 degrees. But today it's only 50, but it's going to get into the 70s. So anyway, we were talking, somebody had made like a comment. I think Mark even said something about the sad state of American health. So we are actually going to discuss that today and how bad it is. So what's really scary is we are the most advanced medically there is, but yet we are literally the sickest. It should give everybody some serious pause, right? Despite being the most technically advanced nation, America is facing a severe health crisis. Over 74% of Americans are overweight. 42% of adults are obese. 20% of children are obese. 50% of adults have type 2 diabetes. 30 to 50% of U.S. adults have some degree of insulin resistance. Autism rates have soared from 150 in 2000 to 1 in 30 today. Let's see, coronary heart disease is the #1 killer in the U.S. 18.2 million adults have heart disease. 40% of people will be diagnosed with cancer at some point in their lives. Is that just not scary? And it's getting worse every day with those numbers. Let's see. 60% of adults have a chronic illness. And here's what's really scary. Children are coming up with chronic illnesses now too. And in 2025, the American Cancer Society projects about 2 million plus new cancer cases and 618,000 cancer-related deaths in the U.S. This is scary, people, very scary. So why is this happening? Ultra-processed foods. 70% of the American diet is ultra-processed foods, pesticides, toxins, hormone disruptors, toxic medications, vaccinations. Oh my gosh, what they're finding out and what they've been burying about vaccines is scary stuff. Sedentary lifestyles, instant gratification taught lifestyles. We are literally now a nation biologically inflamed, oxidatively stressed, and energy depleted. So the root cause, what is it? It's cellular dysfunction. If you don't have happy cells, you don't have healthy cells. So every chronic disease begins with dysfunctional cells. When detoxification and repair systems fail, cellular damage accelerates. The downward spiral. Toxin buildup overwhelms the liver, kidneys, and NRF2 pathways. Oxidative stress damages DNA and mitochondria, creating chronic inflammation, which then creates an endless damage cycle. They actually create zombie cells, or better known as senescent cells, which release inflammatory cytokines, those really bad dudes I'm always talking about, tumor NF kappa B, your whole system there, your interleukin 1 beta, interleukin 6, tumor necrosis factor alpha. All those age tissues and drive disease and inflammation. So this whole cascade of effects leads to accelerated aging, loss of vitality, and the explosion of chronic illnesses that we see in America today. So what can we do? There's a solution. It's called activation. What is activation? Well, it's not supplementation. So what is it? Every chronic disease begins with dysfunctional cells. So when detoxification and repair systems fail, cellular damage accelerates. So supplementation just adds. That's kind of like your vitamins A's, your B's, your C's, your D's, your E's, and such, because you got to add it because you're lacking of it. However, activation multiplies. It's literally turning things back on that God created for us to stay healthy. So most people try to fix their health by adding supplements, vitamins, minerals, or antioxidants. But these are secondary defenses. True repair happens when you turn on the body's genetic pathways of resilience. So activation means reawakening your body's built-in defense and repair systems, your innate ability to detoxify, regenerate, and thrive. And when we say your innate ability, that just means it's just turning on God's system back on that he created in us. So sadly, after the age of 35, and it's getting younger and younger now because of our food supply, these systems slow dramatically. So LifeVantage's science of nutrigenomics uses natural plant-based compounds to reactivate all the most important pathways in your body to get your health turned back on. We literally were called potentially the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine by one of the universities that studied us. So the power of the Tri-Synergizer, right? Good stuff. It has the Protandim NRF2 Synergizer. It is your master detoxifier. Reduces oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days and 70% in 120 days. That's unheard of, people. It boosts your glutathione by 300% every day, 24 hours a day. It's wonderful. Why is that so important? It's your master detoxifier. And it's also the most important thing for your immune system. It increases your superoxide dismutase by 30%, your catalase by 54%, and your hemioxygenase by 700%. That's amazing because that's for inflammation. It activates over 400 survival genes and supports DNA repair. So when all that googly junk from the food gets in there and starts shutting down signals and messes it all up, you can come in and fix it and help fix your DNA. It neutralizes over 1 million free radicals per second. And NRF2 is literally the guardian of health span and the gatekeeper of longevity. We increase your lifespan by 7%, and there's a study on that, and we can prove it. It's wonderful. So what's next in our little tri-synergizer bundle? The NRF1 synergizer, which is your mitochondrial rebuilder. So it increases your cellular energy, which is your ATP, and mitochondrial biogenesis. What does that mean? It makes more little powerhouses for you. Happy, healthy, more powerhouses. So just think of your NRF1 as your body battery. Keeping it full means that your cells are talking to each other properly and doing the right job. It enhances sleep quality, cellular repair, improves performance, energy recovery, slows cellular aging by protecting DNA and recycling damaged proteins. Guys, that's very important. It's autophagy. That helps get all the bad stuff out and keeps everything happy and healthy inside to keep your cells working right. NRF1 is literally the cell's infrastructure manager, keeping mitochondria efficient and youthful. And then last but not least, the NAD. So the Protandim NAD synergizer is the longevity activator. It literally doubles your sirtuin activity in 24 hours. Why are sirtuins important? They're your proteins that help you live longer. There's 7 of them, and they are tied very directly to your longevity and your healthy longevity. So they restore cellular communication and DNA integrity. They improve your focus, mood, motivation, energy metabolism. They support healthy vascular and joint function. Literally, NAD is the spark of life. So it's fueling your DNA repair, and it's very important for DNA repair. It helps fuel your mitochondrial energy, and it helps as a resource against aging. Very important. All of them are completely plant-based, made by God. He put these on earth so that we can take them and activate the pathways that we need to activate in our bodies to keep them happy and healthy, like the NRF2 being the most important, because what creates all disease? Oxidative stress and inflammation. And then NRF1 for all of your body battery needs, and then your NAD to help repair your DNA and live a happy, long life. And when you put them all together, they work even better together. You have almost an 1,800% increase in efficacy. And that's why they are called the tri-synergizer. They work together seamlessly and do wonderful things. So literally, so for energy production, they all work hand in hand together. For each one of these things, they work hand in hand together. So for energy, NAD fuels mitochondrial ATP production via redox reactions. NRF2 actually helps too because it indirectly supports mitochondrial health via antioxidant genes. And then NRF1 helps too because it's your body battery. It directly drives your mitochondrial biogenesis and your ETC enzymes. So for antioxidant defense, they all work together. NAD actually recycles antioxidants like glutathione. NRF2, of course, is your master regulator of antioxidant genes, your SOD, your catalase, hemioxygenase. But NRF1 actually helps regulate the mitochondrial specific antioxidants. So they literally work together and work better together. Like for detoxification, NAD, it supports phase 1 and 2 enzymes in the liver. NRF2, of course, activates over 200 detox genes, including glutathione transferase. And then NRF1 supports the metabolic detox through lipid metabolism, meaning energy, inflammation control. They all work together. NAD activates sirtuins to suppress inflammatory signaling. NRF2 inhibits that bad dude NF-kappa B and lowers cytokine production. And then NRF1 maintains the protein homeostasis and suppresses stress signals. So they all work together in certain ways. So for DNA repair and cell survival, they all do it. They all help. NAD just does a really big part of it because they fuel the PRAPs, your PARPs, and your sirtuins for DNA repair and stress response. NRF2 protects against DNA damage via oxidative stress. NRF1, again, maintains gene expression for mitochondrial and proteasome repair through energy. Autophagy and protein cleanup, very important because you got to keep all the cells happy and clean. You don't want junk just driving around out there, just floating around. You got to clean it up. So NAD triggers sirtuin-driven autophagy, very important. It'll recycle the cells, the healthy parts or the damaged cells, and keeps it out of the system and they're not floating around. NRF2 supports autophagy and cellular resilience. NRF1 increases proteasome activity for protein detox. And then for senescence or zombie cell issues and aging defense, good gosh, the NAD is so important because it delays senescence by supporting mitochondrial health. In the NRF2 prevents zombie cells formation through antioxidant and detox roles. And then NRF1 clears damaged proteins and restores cell integrity. So they all play a role together. And when you put all three together, it's amazing. So there's two other things that help immensely in the state of this very sad state of American health. So the inflammation fighter, in the corner, we have protandim NRF2 and liquid collagen because they are amazing together and can knock out some serious inflammation. So it downregulates NF-kappa B, which is your master switch of inflammation, reduces cytokines, interleukin-1 beta, interleukin-6, tumor necrosis factor, alpha that accelerate aging and inflammation. It promotes healthy fibroblast activity, collagen synthesis, and joint and gut health, and it helps stimulate glutathione through glycine-rich peptides. So the combination of NRF2 collagen delivers a 1-2 punch against oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. And chronic inflammation leads to autoimmune diseases. So these two guys alone lower those interleukin-1 betas by over 90-some%, the interleukin-6 by 90%, the tumor necrosis factor by, I think it's like 60-some%. It's crazy what these two do together. And there's a huge study on it. I'll show you a link to it. So then you've got the metabolic balancer, right? Because remember those statistics on insulin resistance, diabetes, and all that stuff? It's getting completely out of hand. And essentially, we have the mind-body GLP-1, which will help regulate appetite and glucose metabolism, improves insulin sensitivity and metabolic flexibility, supports detoxification and weight control, and works synergistically with the Tri-Synergizer for full body metabolic reset. So the GLP-1 activation aligns the gut-brain axis and restores balanced metabolism. So see what I was talking about with the collagen and NRF2? Look at how much it lowers: 97%, 88%, 94%, 40%, 60%. Guys, these are all your inflammatory genes. So you want those down. So it upregulates, downregulates, but mainly downregulates so you can get out of that terrible, terrible cycle of inflammation. And same thing with the mind-body GLP-1. If you put the GLP-1 with the NRF2, what it does are absolutely amazing. Oh yeah, sorry. Back on this slide, there's a great study right there that you can see that tells you all this and what all it does. Same thing right here. When you put the GLP-1 with the NRF2 together, it just does amazing things. And it targets causes of age-related organ decline to help organs stay structurally strong, support tissue cells, regeneration and repair, and improve coordination signaling impulses with tissue cells and nerves. So it does way more than just help you with your metabolic stuff, right? So when you put the two together, they found out it promotes even more, 4 more pathways for antioxidants alone than just NRF2 alone. Supports the metabolism, right? It activates an additional 9 fat fatty acid metabolism pathways compared to just the mind GLP-1 system, mind-body GLP-1 system alone. Promotes tissue cell strength and integrity. So it literally activates 10 genes involved in cell barrier and tissue strength, very important. Supports tissue cell regeneration and repair, which means it newly activates 6 genes involved in the I can never say this one right, sphingolipid pathway. Sorry. Okay. And then it also promotes coordination, signaling, and impulses with cells and nerves and overall nerve health. So very important, it activates 6 pathways in neuronal signaling, right? It just helps your nerves signal better to one another. What does that mean? That means everything's working better and you're healthier. So we're going to go from this horrible United States sad state of healthcare from sick care to self-repair when we activate. So root cause, oxidative stress. What happens? Fatigue, disease. Activated solution, protandim NRF2 activates your detox enzymes and keeps your cells happy and healthy. Root cause, mitochondrial damage, energy loss, aging. Protandim NRF1 rebuilds mitochondria. DNA damage causes chronic disease. Protandim NAD activates repair and longevity genes. Collagen decline creates wrinkles, joints, issues, all kinds of actually issues, because it happens to also protect all of your organs. So the True Science collagen rebuilds tissues. Pretty amazing. Metabolic dysfunction creates obesity, diabetes, and the mind-body GLP-1 restores balance for that. So America doesn't have a healthcare problem. It literally has a cellular activation problem, mainly because of the food supply. It's like big pharma, they just cover up symptoms. They don't fix anything. It just covers things up. Big food creates the issues. Tobacco does the same thing. So we're going to activate our body's genetic defense switches so we can prevent premature aging, reduce inflammation and oxidative stress, and restore metabolic and mitochondrial function and reclaim vitality through wellness. So it's very important that you realize just exactly what is happening, because stress doesn't help any either. But try, no matter what, try and shop your outer aisles of the grocery store, because single source food, like just having like a chicken breast or a steak, a sweet potato, and then like broccoli or asparagus, something like that. Those are all single source. They don't have extra ingredients. They are going to be the safest and healthiest thing for you, especially if it's organic and grass fed. So, one last thing, just because it is October, November, we're coming up into the whole open enrollment healthcare stuff. Just as a reminder, because healthcare is so messed up right now, LifeVantage consultants, just want to remind all of you you can become a LifeVantage consultant for $50. You save money on all of your products. You don't have to sell it, which would be silly if you don't, because you could sell enough just to pay for your subscription to your products that you get. But we also offer all of the LifeVantage consultants insurance. So if anybody's looking for insurance, you're a LifeVantage consultant, whatever, you can be part of the LifeVantage family, because we have a huge consultant base, and you can get either health share, you can get major medical, supplemental, however you want to do it, but it is something that LifeVantage offers everybody. So anybody who's a consultant. And then, okay, everything we talked about, all scientifically studied, huge studies from all kinds of MIT, Stanford, Harvard, University of Texas, major medical universities. Gosh, the American Heart Association, the American Lung Association, all that stuff. And we got our big start on ABC Primetime, where they tried to say that we couldn't do what we did, and we did it better. So there's a link also for that ABC Primetime video if you want to check it out. But you can order all the stuff we talked about today at either the original MarkZ.LifeVantage.com or from StazieZ.LifeVantage.com. If you order through me, Mark gets credit also. So the best idea, like there's in stacks and bundles, you'll see the Tri-Synergizer, or you'll find the collagen and NRF2, or you can find the Mind Body, the Healthy Weight Stack, the GLP-1 and NRF2. And all of those studies are in the presentation. But if you have a specific health thing that you're dealing with and you want to ask some questions, just text me 704-249-5565. So, okay, that's it. Yay.
All right, then.
Very good. Did you get some more salty out?
Yeah, I'm not even really salty. I'm just like,
I know the craziness.
craziness out there. And much of it is on both sides. Most of it is on the left right now, but there's still, I mean, there's plenty of crazy out there for everybody to partake in.
There is, but the sad thing is everybody needs to remember, there was a very most interesting article in the Epoch Times this weekend that literally was teaching people how to see if a news story was real. That's how bad it has gotten. So just make sure you're paying attention and using your common sense. And don't forget, the CCP might be paying a lot of people on social media to say things that are not so good. So, yeah.
Just keep in mind, I mean, from you look at so many of your influencers, Harry says, I mean, you look at the brother, you look at your social media, and then you look at how many of them are financed by DNC. I would like to know if the RNC finances any or not. I haven't been able to find anything, and I've done some very, very deep dives and know folks that work with the RNC, and they have told me no, but I'm not certain I buy it 100%. They never offered me anything to do science, but it is like a well-documented fact with paycheck stubs that the left, I mean, the Biden administration had their own office in the West Wing just for the Harry Sessoms, the starts with a K, brothers. I mean, what's the Brooklyn dad? I mean, there's like a list of them paid for like millions and millions of dollars to go out there on your social media. And we're supposed to just magically think it's genuine or grassroots.
Nope.
No. They're like paid protesters.
Oh, yay. So
I can't find
fun.
any instances yet, but trust me, I am looking to make certain that I am not like trying to claim moral high ground when we don't have it at all. Yeah, don't forget Harry. And I mean, just there's nothing genuine if they are paying you to do the protest. They're paying you to organize. They're bussing you in. If they're handing you the pre-printed signs, guys, that is nothing genuine.
Nothing about it.
Nothing about
exactly.
It is
They're
a
essentially
joke. You should be embarrassed to be included in that.
Yeah, it's called brainwashing.
Exactly. And then now you got billionaires funding protests against another billionaire because he doesn't fit with their billionaire class. I mean, just whatever. All right. We'll get it figured out.
Exactly. Okay, on a more positive note, everybody go activate those cells, be happy, be healthy, and happy birthday to everyone.
Definitely happy birthday, everybody. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. unless there is breaking news. Moderators, thanks for sticking around, and see you tomorrow.